compute very easily weighted moving averages, and that's where we put a weighting on the more recent price information. So simple idea, really, that the more recent price activity is more significant, and therefore we should weight it more heavily than the older price activity. And that's exactly what any type of weighted moving average does. It places a greater emphasis on the immediate price activity. So we have a weighted moving average. You can see the formula there on the screen. You can imagine trying to calculate that, 80 years ago manually and having to recalculate the entire thing, every day or every week. When you're using a simple moving average, the calculation is not so, tedious, because you drop off the oldest value, you pick up the newest value, and you can recalculate it fairly quickly. With a weighted moving average, you virtually have to redo the entire calculation. So they become very commonplace, of course, with PCs that can calculate them very fast. And we have simple moving averages, we have weighted moving averages, then we have the exponential moving average. And the exponential moving average is simply another type of weighted moving average. And that's a very important point to note. The exponential moving average is the most popular type of moving average in use today. And it's overused. It gets used too much. People don't really understand, where you should use it and where you shouldn't use it. And I'll give you an example shortly. But it is just a type of weighted moving average. A weighted moving average, the one that you see, the middle formula, is actually sits closer to the price activity, by the way, than an exponential moving average. Where do we use an exponential moving average? We use it on an exponential chart, and you see that on the screen now. This is Tesla. You can see there, if you just look at the price activity, how it's accelerating. That's an exponential trend. So it's accelerating exponentially. We have an exponential curve, and if we were to apply a simple moving average to this chart, you would find that it would fall away. It would track along over here somewhere, instead of managing to curve up underneath the price activity and sort of stay on track right underneath the current price activity. So we use an exponential moving average on an exponential curve, on an exponential chart. If we're looking at a linear trend, one that we would define with the trend line, we use a simple moving average. Okay, so that's a very important point to note. They actually do have a specific purpose. I think it is really important to listen to the creators of these different tools and instruments, because you then understand why we originally created them. What was the actual intention? What is the intended application? So simple moving average we use on a linear trend, and an exponential moving average we use on an exponential trend. So, but both supportive, both of them effectively. If you like, it's sort of like a curved, the exponential moving average is like a curved trend line, okay, because we couldn't use a straight line trend there. So that's that's where it sort of brings us up today. Why the whole moving average? I created it in 2005, and what I actually wanted was a central trend line. So it was completely different from everything else there was. It wasn't another form of weighted moving average. What I wanted was a line that would actually sit right in the middle of the price activity, as you see this center line here in this channel. Again, this is Visor, and what I'm showing you is a channel situation. Now, in order for a channel to be valid, there must be two upper and two lower touch points on two parallel lines. So you can see there pretty much, and don't be overly accurate. I find some chartists get really carried away, engineers, it's got to be exact. We don't need to be absolutely exact. You can see there that pretty much we've got 2-3 touch points there, and we've got 2 touch points there. So we've got a channel situation here. This is obviously a linear trend overall, and what you've got is you've got a market really oscillating around that central line. Whenever you are looking at a channel situation where you can identify a trading channel, you should always draw in that center line. And the reason is that center line represents fair value or agreed value over time. What's actually happening is the market, if you take the bulls in the market, the extreme bulls, they will buy it up. They will take the price away from that central line. Then it will go back up, and then it comes back, and then the bears, the extreme bears, or the most pessimistic people in the market will sell it down, and they will take it to that extreme. But it will oscillate around that central trend line, and it usually does so in a linear manner.